Hi all, now we prove theorem 20. Let G be G f1 f2 etc f are be linear functionals on a vector space V. So in order to get this G as a linear combination of this f1 f2 f4, we can get we have the characterization for this and contains the intersection of n1 n2 etc nr. That means this n is the null space of G and n1 n2 nr are the null spaces of this f1 f2 f4. Okay, so we need to prove that this G is equal to C1 times F1 plus etc plus CR times NR CR times FR if and only if this n contains, that means n1 intersection n2 intersection etc intersection nr is contained in n. Okay, so this can be proved using the one part is very trivial. Anyway, this R is equal to one, then the result is trivial because this reduces to G is equal to C1 F1 if and only if this N1 is contained in N1. There is only one N1, then N1 is contained in N. So this is what we have proved in the lemma. So in the case of an R is equal to 1 is very trivial. So we will prove this theorem, this characterization using mathematical induction on R. So because this statement is a statement of R, so we can say that this for R is equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. We need to prove the statement for the positive integers. So since this R is for R is equal to 1, we have the lemma, then it is easily followed. Then we assume that this R is the result is true for P of R is true for R is equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. K minus 1, and we'll prove this is true for R is equal to K. So we have assumed that P of R is equal to P of R is true for all the integers less than or equal to this K. So we need to prove the statement P of K. P of K is G is equal to C1 F1 plus etc plus CK Fk if and only if this N1 intersection N2 intersection etc intersection Nk is contained in N. Okay, so one part is very trivial. If you assume this, we have N1 intersection N2 intersection etc Nk contained in N. This implies if you if you assume this, we will prove that this G is equal to C1 F1 plus etc. CK Fk implies this statement N1 intersection N2 intersection etc. intersection Nk. First we can prove this. This is very clear. Contained in N. For this N1, N2, Nk are the null spaces of F1, F2, etc. Fk, and N is the null space of G. Now, in order to prove this, we choose an alpha from N1 intersection etc. intersection Nk. Consequently, F1 of alpha equal to F2 of alpha equal to etc. equal to Fk of alpha equal to 0 because alpha belongs to each of these Ni's. Ni's are the null spaces of F1, F2, etc. or Fy's. So these quantities are 0. Consequently, G of alpha equal to C1 times 0 plus etc. Ck times 0, that is equal to 0. So this is trivially true. That means that this alpha belongs to n is the null space of G. So when n is equal to in the case when k r is equal to k, then one part is very trivial. The next then it remains to show that the next part. What is the next part? If you assume n1 intersection n2 intersection etc. intersection n k is contained in n, then we have to show that this G is a linear combination of this. So we need, in order to prove this is a linear combination of this, we need to establish the existence of such these scalars. That is the first thing. Okay, for that we consider our vector space V here, and if we choose NK, what is NK? NK is the null space of Fk. Okay, so that is always a subspace of V, and we consider all these functions G, F1, etc. All these Fk minus 1, all these functions up to k minus 1. We are not considering Fk because we are going to take the restrictions of this to Nk. This is nk. So these we consider the restrictions of all these functions to this the subspace nk. These are respectively uh, denoted by g prime, f1 prime, etc., fk prime. For the time being, we denote this restrictions as this respectively. Now, now we have only k minus 1 functions anyway. We are considering, you can consider fk, restriction of fk to this nk. Since this nk is a null space of fk, then fk coincides with the zero functional in this subspace. So that doesn't make any sense. Before that, we consider these restrictions. In these restrictions, we consider k minus 1 linear functions f1 f2 k minus 1 along with this g. First of all, we use the induction hypothesis. We have assumed that the result is true for k minus 1, r is equal to 1 to the raised to k minus 1. Then what is p of k minus 1? P of k minus 1 states that whenever n1 intersection, n2 intersection, etc., nk minus 1, this is nk minus 1 contained in n, contained in some null space, then you can consider the linear functions corresponding to these null spaces as a linear combination of these linear function as the linear function corresponding to this n. So when you consider this, first we check whether this n1 prime intersection n2 prime intersection, etc., intersection nk minus 1 prime. This ni primes denotes the null spaces of this f1 prime, f2 prime, etc., fk minus 1. Anyway, all these n1 prime, n2 prime, nk minus 1 primes are the subspace of nk, because the domains of these functions are nothing but this nk. So when you consider this, and you can easily write this is contained in nk. You can easily write because all these contained in nk. Then we have, from this you can write this implies n1 prime intersection, etc., intersection nk minus 1 prime intersection nk, because all these the nk prime itself is nk, because nk prime is the null space of fk prime. The fk prime is a zero functional in nk, then the null space coincides with this. So this is contained in n using this assumption. We need to prove the result by assuming this n1 intersection, etc., nk, this intersection is contained in n. So we have already assumed that this is true. Assume this, then from this you can write, since this intersection is contained in nk, then this intersection is contained in n using this assumption. Now we have from this you can write this n1 prime intersection, etc., intersection nk prime is contained in n. Okay, now you can write this is a from this you can write this is k minus 1. From this part is always, this intersection is always contained in this, then this intersection is also contained in this n. This is because this intersection is contained in nk. Then when you take the intersection of this with nk, you can get this part only. The intersection is, this intersection is same as this intersection, then that is contained in n, and it has only k minus 1 null spaces. Then you can write this is actually n prime, and write it as n prime. Then you can write this g prime as a linear combination of this f1 f2 etc fk minus 1, because we have used the induction hypothesis. Whenever we have this in this intersection contained in this, then you can write the linear functional corresponding to n prime as the scalar multiple of the linear functions corresponding to n1 prime, n2 prime etc. So we can establish the existence of k minus 1 scalars in this manner. Okay, so this is fk minus 1. Yes. So this is true, or this is identically equal to this on nk, because these are the linear, the domains of the domains of these linear functionals are nothing but this nk. So you can get this equality. So using this this c1 c2 etc ck minus 1, we will show that g is exactly equal to c1 plus c2 plus etc, or a linear combination of this. For that, we define a new functional h as a using these scalars. So we write it as g minus c1 f1 plus etc c k minus 1 f k minus 1. Okay, so now we have a new linear functional h. This h is defined from v to f. Okay, and we have fk. Consider fk along with this f. What is the domain of fk? Domain of fk is from this v to f again. Okay, but we know that the null space of nk, null space of fk is nk. Fk is nk. Okay, we will show that this h is a scalar multiple of fk. Okay, to prove h is equal to some ckfk. To prove this, we will show that, or we use the previous lemma discussed in the previous class. We will show that null space of fk nk is contained in null space of h. Okay, so how to prove this nk is contained in h? We choose an arbitrary element alpha from nk. Okay, so from this, if we choose any nk, we have this result. G prime is contained in this. So G prime is equal to scalar multiple of this. Then you can write it as G prime of alpha equal to C1 f prime of alpha plus etc ck minus 1 fk minus 1 prime of alpha. But this is equal to 0 because of this. Okay, now you can say that this G prime of alpha minus of this quantity is 0. So this implies this would imply that h of alpha equal to 0, because G prime of alpha equal to this G of alpha, since alpha belongs to nk. Because the restriction of G to nk is G prime. So G prime and G coincides at nk. Similarly, each fi from 1 to etc k minus 1, fi of alpha is equal to fi prime of alpha is equal to fi of alpha, because of the same reason. The domain of these two functions are the same. For I is equal to 1, 2, 3 etc k minus 1. From that you can write this G prime of alpha as G of alpha. Then G of alpha is equal to C1 f1 of alpha plus etc ck minus 1 fk minus 1 of alpha. That implies h of alpha equal to 0. Then we have alpha is an element of nh. Now we write alpha belongs to nk implies alpha belongs to nh. What is the consequence of this? Nk is contained in nh. Whenever nk is contained in nh, you can get the linear function corresponding to this is a scalar multiple of a linear function corresponding to this one. That means h can be written as some c times the null space, the function corresponding to nk, that is ck. So that I'll put it as ck, the constant as ck. Then we can write h is equal to ckfk. So from this statement, you can say that h is equal to ckfk implies what is h? H is g minus this. So that is equal to ckfk. That would imply that g is equal to I'll write the summation notation I equal to 1 to k ci fi. So this proves the theorem 20. Whenever we have n1, n2, etc., nk is contained in n, we have that g is a linear combination of f1, f2, etc., fk.